We're going to talk about better, more intelligent way, at least in my humble opinion, to work the core. A lot of times when we talk about core, we try to get away from the overemphasis on the rectus abdomini, those six-pack muscles. They are definitely an essential part of the core, but we always try to stress the other 360 degrees of it. The lateral portions, the posterior portions, the portions below the, we'll say the SI joint, so the glutes, everything else that connects to the pelvis, that really epitomizes true core strength. However, we do still want to work that front side. A lot of patients come in and we talk to people and we're trying to fine-tuning what they have going on, maybe even finding one of the triggers that lead to a nagging issue or an ongoing injury. Crunches. Crunches at this point and stage of the game, I'm all about doing every type of movement and moving in every direction and not limiting yourself. But the crunches and the old school sit-up, somewhat outdated and antiquated at this point. We might as well kick it to the curb. There's other more intelligent ways to work those front side rectus abdominis muscles. So what we want to do, one way you could do that, if you're at a gym, a Roman chair. A Roman chair, if you know what I'm talking about, there's a little, the bars on the edge and maybe some handles right here. You could bring your legs all the way down and then bring them up into a pike position, keeping your back neutral the whole time. You're bringing your legs up, round. You can do it also in a knee bent position. You could do that as well. You can do that from a pull-up bar, way less advantageous, and you really got to watch out for keeping the back neutral during that, but it is another option. But let's talk about more DIY, no equipment necessary, therefore no excuses, way to hit those front side muscles. This is one I actually saw in a group of exercises called the Big Three. Big Three by a guy by the name, he's an author of a book called The Back Mechanic. He's a well sought after specialist on low back pain. Really, that's what he specializes in. It's called the Big Three. We've gone over the other ones in the past. One of them is the quadruped cross crawl. We've done that one in the past. We have everybody doing that one as a brain warm up, but also as a core warm up and glute warm up, and also the side plank. We've done different derivations of that with the side plank. This one right here rounds out the Big Three. So what we want to do is get into that position, and we'll show you right now another way to do it. So going forward, again, anytime, anywhere, no equipment necessary. We're going to get down to that position. Don't sleep on these ones too if you need another idea for some front side work. Old school leg lifts. I remember in football practice, we used to shake. Everyone hated these. But now I do them as an adult because they're effective. Remember the leg lift. You can bring your leg up. You can even just hold it right there. 6 inches off the ground. You find the lower you go to the ground, the harder it is. Try to hold those puppies straight. You want more movement in that? How about going into a pike? Bringing it up, bringing it back down all the way. You can make it even harder, just like we talk about all exercises, by doing it super slow. How about 10 seconds up, 10 seconds down? 10 seconds up into the pike. I'm going to speed it up just for demonstration purposes, but you get the idea. Keep the legs straight, then 10 seconds going all the way back down. That's a lot of time under tension, strengthening and hopefully toning those coveted abdominal muscles. So you can do that. Another derivation, like we talk about all different movement, how about going into the leg lift and then moving one of the legs to the side? Moving one of the legs to the side, up and down over there. Tons of different things. You're only limited by your own imagination right here. All these exercises that we have ingrained in our mind, thought of by people no smarter than you or I. Think about it. Try it out. Share. That's what we're doing. Okay, so here's the Big Three one. Without further ado, no more yapping from me. So we get in this position. You take your hands, put them underneath the low part of your back, right where you have that lordotic curve like this, in your lower lumbar spine. You could sit them right there. Elbows stay on the ground. We're going to go into, it's going to look like we're going to start a crunch. But we're going to keep our legs flat on the ground, no knee bent or anything like that. They can be not necessarily together. We'll say about hips length apart. So we're not going to come up like this and start rounding the back. We want to stay away from rounding the back. But we are going to try to hinge at the hip. Hinge at the hip, so it's going to be a subtle lift. Hinge at the hip, meaning right here, trying to keep this upper torso as straight as can be and just raising it like this off the ground. Raising it like this off the ground while keeping the chin tucked. You'll see this is an essential component. If you allow your neck to get out front, it's going to lead. You're going to perpetuate bad posture. One of the main things we're trying to stay away from, those crunches and those sit-ups to begin with. So we want to keep that chin tucked, and you'll see. You'll start to strengthen some of the postural neck muscles right there that are also advantageous. So here we go. Hands underneath the small of the back. And I'm coming up just like that. It's that subtle. I'm off the ground. It's that subtle. I'm keeping my neck, my chin tucked, and I'm holding it here. You'll feel it right in here. You start to feel it grab. Go ahead. Try to hold it 10, 15, 20 seconds. Lower it back down. Bring it back up. Time under tension. 10, 20. However long you can hold it, you get to shaking. Bring it back down, take a break. Like I said, you'll start to feel these muscles in the front side of your neck start to fatigue because you're keeping that chin tucked. You're protecting against the pitfalls of bad posture. You're protecting against the pitfalls of straining and fatigue and bad form as you curve your back forward to mindlessly pump out those poor biomechanic, those poor posture sit-ups and crunches. One more derivation on the big 3 that we added to it. You want to make it a little bit harder for yourself and change it up, more dynamic movement rather than just a static hold. Again, engage. I'm going into the big 3. I'm going to speed it up just for demonstration purposes. We're coming up. I'm in that position. This is the primary position. Now, in that position, holding everything in the same, I'm going to bring my legs up. So now I'm in a leg lift on the lower end too. These feet down here about 6 inches off the ground. You can try to hold that for 10 seconds. Keep the legs up. Allow the shoulders to fall back down, the head fall back down and relax. There's still tension under here. It's just a different force, different tension, different pull points. Full abdominal workout. Cool, I held that for 10 seconds. I'm coming back into that lower half, upper half. Almost like a start of a pike position. I'm going to hold that for 10 seconds. I'm bringing the legs back down. The legs are relaxed, and I'm finishing just the way I started. Up in that big 3 position. Holding it for 10 more seconds, and then slowly lowering. I start to shake from that. Some patients start to shake during that. Some patients even curse me during that. But we do it is for the greater good, and we know there's benefit to it. So get after it. Add it to your regimen. Think outside the box of your standard crunch, your standard sit-up. Your back might thank you.